Good morning, gentlemen. We are live.
What up? What up? What up?
Morning.
All right. I appreciate everybody. Appreciate you getting up this morning. Appreciate everybody tuning in. This is Triple Option, the Sunday morning college football talk. And man, Brooks, we know this is going to be your episode here, man. Your team, the Georgia Bulldogs, your school, the Georgia Bulldogs, are back-to-back national champions. And so we're going to focus in on that today. So you have your moment in the sun. And Coy, um, our college football expert, he's going to chime in as well with great information. So again, good morning. Welcome to the show, Triple Option. We're going to do our intro, and then we're going to come back and talk some UGA football. All right, we're back. That hot track comes from Jones Music Company, LLC. Terrence Jones. We thank Terrence Jones and Jones Music Company, LLC for the hot track. Hit that like. Yep, that's key. Hey, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell for us. Keep sharing. We need everybody possible to do that. It doesn't cost you anything to do it, and it keeps the show running. So we definitely appreciate everybody who's done it, and we thank you in advance in doing so. All right, gentlemen.
Brooks. Hold on. Let me holler at my buddy Brooks right now.
Go ahead, Corey.
Brooks. And I holler at the coach, Mr. 411. Brooks, greatest halftime adjustment ever. Appreciate you for joining in.
I said that, man. Thank you.
He had you on the bench at the beginning of the game, but it's been a we gonna win because you came in this second half and rolled with me and Mr. Jones. All right, brother. Just want to let you know we appreciate you for that.
No, man, thank you. Appreciate that.
It's like Tula versus what's his face in Alabama. You know, they had to switch the quarterback.
Oh, talking about when Hurts.
Yeah, Tula hurts. And Brooks don't came in just he just been putting up numbers for us ever since he joined the team.
I don't like that analogy, but I get what you're saying. That one still hurts, man.
I know I had to take a shot at you because that was at your expense. But it is what it is.
All right, that's very good, Corey. All right, Brooks. With all that, it's time for your moment in the sun. Your Georgia Bulldogs are the back-to-back national champions. And gentlemen, let's give everybody your analysis of the national championship game. I know the score was out of hand and things of that nature, but just still speak on it a little bit.
Who wants to go first?
I'll take it. I'll take it and give him all the time he needs for his gloating. I think me and Brooks both agreed that we thought it was going to be a Georgia dominance, but we did think that TCU. I thought TCU was going to be more game, but when I think about it, the difference between having a month to prepare and a week makes it totally different when you're playing against a team that's got superior talent and possibly a superior coach. We don't know because it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's not much to say. I mean, the only thing we say is TCU came back after Georgia scored early and dropped the bomb and looked like they were like in the fight, and then we realized that was they weren't in the fight. It was a talent on the field versus talent on the field. We all got to see how superior and how well Smart has loaded that team up. So, I mean, when it gets to the point where you're running backups in there and they're going 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 10 and they chuck off 60 yards and it's not much. It was clear. I mean, we can hear about, well, if Alabama did this, if Ohio State kicked the field goals, if Michigan didn't underestimate TCU, well, hats off to TCU. They dealt with the man, and the man they beat him real good. So we'll see what happens. Because as far as it goes, regardless of what everybody else got to say about any other team, they ruled their conference. They proved that this year. So I mean, it is what it is. There's not a lot to say about that game. That was a statement. I don't know who y'all were talking to, but I hope they heard y'all, because woo, them Bulldogs did their thing, brother.
Mm-hmm. Got a little UGA flavor behind me. They got the diploma sitting right there. So yeah, got the diploma sitting right there.
Yes, sir.
A few things that jump out to me all season. I watched Georgia all season. They got vanilla at times, offensive and defensively. But I think that was by design. Like, Kirby always wanted to hang on to his things. He didn't want, people getting tape of, his stuff, He went vanilla in games, you could tell. And when you got that talent, you can win like that. The Kentucky game comes to mind when it started raining in the second half of the Tennessee game. Any kind of any kind of lower opponent they were expected to beat, they went vanilla. So, and then you see it in these bigger games, the SEC championship, the Ohio State game, the TCU game. He whips it all out. He goes for it all. And I mean, that's one of the things I like about Kirby. He's willing to, hey, I'm not going to give you show you all my cards. I'll sit on it, and I'll sit on it, and I'll sit on it all season. And you saw it. I mean, just the ease, especially on offense, the ease to which they were scoring. It just didn't look like TCU had a plan. TCU didn't look like they knew it was coming. And I attribute that to Kirby Smart and just the way he, strategizes throughout the season and doesn't show you everything. And then, bam, whips it all out in the big games. Stetson Bennett was amazing. 4 touchdowns to the air, 2 on the ground, just unstoppable. Really a statement game for his, just the icing on the cake for his legacy. I've already, now the discussion is, greatest player in UGA history, get his circle of honor. Is he going to get in the circle of honor? All these other things. And we'll let that play out another day. But definitely one of the most decorated UGA quarterbacks ever, the most decorated UGA quarterback ever. The one thing we talked about going into this championship game on this podcast was I didn't think they could stop somebody like Brock Bowers, and they didn't. He had over 150 yards in the air and catching, receiving. So I didn't think they had a matchup for that, and they didn't. And the big thing I stated on this podcast was that I didn't think they could stop them offensively. Like, I knew they were going to put up points. I said, I was thinking more in the area of 40. I didn't know they were going to drop 65 on them.
Right.
But, I mean, but the 65 was a more of a tribute to how much talent they really got, because they put their second string, third string guys in there. They were just running the ball, and they were still getting gaping holes. It just shows you the talent level that this team has. Like, they were trying to, put the brakes on, but, these guys, the second string, third strings came in and were opening holes. Offensive line was opening holes. These running backs were hungry to show off in the national championship game, and they put 65 on them. So, but I mean, the more you can say. This game was over. TCU had the touchdown, made it 7-10. Then after that, it was game over. Just absolutely game over. And I had a feeling the Ohio State game was going to be. That was the game. That was the game that we had to get through. And, once we got through that and we had TCU, I just had a feeling. I was like, they're not going to present the challenge Ohio State was. As scrappy as they are, the talent level, the talent gap between these two teams is just too wide. It's too wide. So that's what you got.
Yeah, very, very, very good point on that. You can see that the talent gap there was a separation. Not sure what that says about Michigan, but
The
there's
big,
definitely a gap.
the Michigan game, you can kind of tell Michigan took them guys for granted. Everybody took TCU for granted, and Michigan paid what they paid with their chance in the national championship. But honestly, Michigan, I don't think the result would have been much different if it was Michigan,
Oh wow.
because I really don't. Because even with Michigan is a more talented TCU, yes, but Michigan's also a very vanilla team.
Mm. Yeah, and
And
then we saw what happened with Michigan and Georgia the previous year.
Yeah.
It wasn't close.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, hey Corey, shout out the hot tub Tony 77. What's going on? He says good morning, everybody.
hot tub. When it comes to college, I don't really. I mean, yeah, we can go by the year before, but honestly, when it comes to the college teams, every team is its own entity. It really is. Because you think about it, Georgia lost, what was it, 9 starters to the NFL last year?
More than that. It's like 16.
I'm sorry, you're right, 16. That's
It's so ridiculous.
yeah.
Goodness, 16, my goodness. Okay, well, that's the TCU game.
The number that got drafted. It's somewhere, they lost a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that's the TCU game, gentlemen. Congratulations to the University of Georgia, champions, and back-to-back champions. Let's go ahead and make sure that's known. And Corey, your team, Alabama Crimson Tide. It's going to be interesting to see how that kind of pans out next year. Can we get into a couple things? Oh,
With the Tide, I'm gonna tell you this. With the Tide, because I know how my people are. If they don't win the West next year and win the SEC, we're gonna hear about Saban being old and all the other crap that people do. So, the Tide better come out with a vengeance next year. And whereas I think the guy that Georgia's bringing in, the guy that played the second string quarterback, I think he's going to be just fine at Georgia. Whereas we have to wait and see who's going to run that team in Alabama next year. So,
all right, and then we'll swing it right back to Georgia. You did mention the quarterback situation. So with Bennett moving on to bigger and better things, who's going to be the next QB1 at UGA? In your opinion, guys?
I mean, I watched the spring game, a lot of the games where these second stringers come in. Carson Beck is a really good quarterback. He's one of those. I mean, these are the type of quarterbacks I like, who stick it out, who ride it out, and they want to get their chance no matter how small the window. And I think he's going to get that chance. He's been there for 3 or 4 years now, and he's going to get his chance. And he's improved a lot, and he looks good. He's your prototypical quarterback. He's tall, good arm, good mobility. I mean, I think he's going to. I think it's going to be interesting, because I think he's going to step up with a little bit more pedigree than Stetson had. I'm not saying he's a better quarterback, but he's going to have, a lot more measurables than Stetson, which obviously is a good thing. So I think he's going to get his chance. They got talented quarterbacks behind him, but I think this dude deserves a shot. I think he's going to do well.
All right. Any other comments in regards to the quarterback position?
I'm good on that one.
Okay. And we know there's a ton of recruits coming in, so Georgia's going to reload, just like they did last season after losing a lot of NFL talent. And so, man, that leads to this, gentlemen. Georgia, is this true? Has Georgia widened the gap versus the SEC competition?
They need another. You mean as far as what their peer in the SEC or their side of the SEC.
Or the SEC altogether? Like, have they widened the gap? Are they you know, if you want to use track analogy, are they in the league?
They are in the league. We can. There's no denying that Georgia is in the league as far as SEC going. Widening the gap. There's some guys down in Tuscaloosa that, as talented as Georgia is, man for man, they probably are just as talented. Now, I mean, if you want to say, has it been a two-team race? Yes, it's been there for a while. The one thing over the years I have noticed with the Alabama team is that the Alabama team gives up games they shouldn't, just like Georgia from time to time. And this year, they gave up games. They were close games, but they gave up games they shouldn't have. And that pretty much cost them a chance to play Georgia in the SEC championship and therefore play for a national championship later down the line. Now, it may be a situation where we see Georgia and Alabama play twice a year for a while, depending on what the rotation schedule say. It may be sometimes we might actually see them teams play up to 3 times. But no, I don't think the Georgia's that much head above Alabama as far as SEC goes. Now, Brooks may believe different, but that's just one man's opinion.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the thing is, Georgia and Alabama didn't play this year, right?
Nope.
Now, I'm gonna, you're gonna hear that has Tennessee closed the gap, but that performance they came to Georgia, and that performance they haven't demonstrated anything. They definitely narrowed the gap in the SEC, but in relative to Georgia, you got to show me more than what they showed me.
Tennessee has moved to the third best team.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean that they're that far ahead because Tennessee has to learn the team, and I know it sounds crazy because kids change every year. I know I said it early, but it's like a mindset that you have to be in that mindset of winning. They have not learned how to win, how to become a champion. Because even with Georgia and Kirby, it took a year or two before he could take that talent understand what it means to be a winner, so to speak. It's like a mindset, and it's like you see it in all kind of teams and franchises when they finally click and they become not just that want to, and because I'm here, I got a chance type of mindset. Tennessee is like still on that lower tier where, yeah, we might win, and yeah, we can get lucky, and yeah, we got this talented, but it's not a tradition or an environment that says we're going to win. Georgia and Alabama both, when they step on the field, is we're going to win. If we're down by 5, if we're down by 14, it doesn't matter. When it's all said and done, we're going to win.
Yeah, I think you still got Georgia and Alabama in that tier 1 of the SEC. I don't think much separates them. Then you got the tier 2. You got your Tennessee. I think you got LSU under Brian Kelly for sure, and I think that's your solid tier 2 right there. Then you just got a bunch of people jockeying for position. South Carolina finished the year very nicely. They're going to bring back their quarterback, not Spencer Rattler. But I mean, you see how badly Georgia beat South Carolina. So I don't know how they are starting to assert themselves in the middle, but there's still that gap there.
Mm-hmm.
I think again, Tennessee is the team to look at to try to get it up there in the tier 1. Like I said, keep your eye on. I think South Carolina's coming up. Texas A&M is a train wreck. They're going to bring in talent, but I just don't trust Jimbo Fisher as a coach.
Speaking of Texas A&M,
they're losing all this talent, so I don't know what to think of them.
Did y'all hear about a guy named Petrino going to Texas A&M?
Man, God, he is one of the most unlikable coaches I've.
Oh, but I tell you what though, he's a hell of a damn coach, and he can develop the hell out of a quarterback.
I got nothing great came to my Falcons for half a
Oh,
season.
oh, he
And then
screwed
left
us.
a note.
No. Let's say
He
he
put a
didn't.
note in their lockers, and that's how he left them. He didn't.
Yes.
Team meeting, no, just bailed.
Yeah.
Note in the locker, like.
And
No,
the
we're not.
situation in Arkansas. I mean, let's be honest about Bobby Petrino. He's not a good fellow.
No, he's not a good person.
However, what he can do with quarterbacks on the college level is ridiculous. His offensive scheme on the college level is he and when he had it going, you got to think he was at smaller schools for the most part of his career. Him and
What,
Chip
Louisville?
Kelly, huh?
I said, what, in Louisville? And this,
Yeah, and then he had a little stint at Arkansas, but we saw what happened at Arkansas. Him being Bobby.
was that the motorcycle accident with the staffer?
Yeah, and his wife. Yeah, all kind of scandals. I mean, but he's not a moral compass. Let's just say that.
We got Hugh
However,
Freeze and Bobby Petrino back in the SEC in the same season.
yeah,
That's amazing.
but I'm just trying to figure out how that dynamics of Jimbo Fisher having Bobby Petrino call his offense.
I mean, it speaks if Fisher's going to give the reins to Petrino, they'll definitely be better because Jimbo Fisher's offense is archaic. If he does that, they'll be better.
But it's the Eagle thing. He's going to have to.
The $1 million question is how long is Bobby Petrino going to be around? $1 million question.
Bobby's going to snake him for that job.
Oh, probably, yeah. He probably.
Don't be surprised, Don't be surprised.
We're gonna see the second incarnation of Gus Malzahn. Yeah.
God. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how things stacking. Do you guys think things are gonna stack up in the SEC next year? Georgia. I agree with you guys with Georgia and Alabama being the tier one. And then you have everyone else kind of behind there. But one team that you guys didn't mention, might as well throw this in there. I didn't hear University of Florida. What's going on there, guys? Do you think they can bounce back and become a tier one type team?
They're going to be a tier two. I like the little coach they got down there, but they haven't shown me anything. Because honestly, the Gators is a train wreck. They've been a train wreck ever since Myers left. So until they get some kind of consistency down there, because there's no guarantee this coach is going to be there. How many coaches they went through in the last 6 years? 3 or is it 4? Can't remember. Let's see.
The guy from Mississippi State. What's that guy's name?
Yeah. They have, but I'll tell you what we'll do.
Yeah, it's on ESPN now or whatever.
Well, yeah, we'll pin it in the comment section on the show. We'll get the producers to put that out there. The last couple of coaches for the University of Florida, because that's a good point. Stability.
They had Muschamp.
Yeah, Will Muschamp was one, but yeah, stability is definitely one of their issues.
Well, it goes back to that same topic of nobody wants to grow a coach anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's spin it back to University of Georgia again. It's almost time for the prediction, but let's first put up their probability schedule for next season. And if you guys can see this, let me know.
Dan Mullen. There we go. Sorry.
Dan Mullen. Yeah.
Yep.
No, there we go.
Yeah.
And I think there was one more in there too. Maybe wrong.
Yeah. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, it looks like University of Georgia on paper.
Hey, I'm throwing this out there before I get all the haters on our week schedule. We had Oklahoma on the schedule. The SEC made us take them off. All right, let's throw that out there. That's where you get the ball.
You throw that caveat out there. Okay, good.
Yeah, don't come at me with the week schedule. We had Oklahoma, and the SEC told us to take them off. Right. So what can we do?
Well, you still have Tennessee, Auburn, South. You still have Tennessee, Auburn, Florida, technically, and South Carolina. That is, I think we all can agree that outside of LSU and Alabama, most of the power have shifted to the East, as far as teams go. You got the top two. You got, we'll say, Alabama, Georgia. They're face. LSU, Tennessee, the second tier of the East, the second tier of the West, and then we can all say that we would agree that that Florida's step ahead of Auburn, and South Carolina is still in that same Auburn tier. If you go to the West, Mississippi State and Ole Miss will be that tier, and so I mean their schedule is going to be tough enough. Actually, pop that schedule back up. Who are they playing for the West as a second West team? I couldn't see it.
The Ole Miss, I mean, they got Ole Miss at Tennessee is going to be tough. I mean, those are two pretty tough games. The back-to-back too. That's not that. I mean, the schedule makers didn't do us any favors there.
No, and I don't care what anybody says. Lane
That's
Kiffin's a
late in
misfit.
the year. That's going to be.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin's
Really
a
doesn't do us any.
misfit.
Yeah.
But you cannot take a Lane Kiffin team lightly.
No, he had some quarterbacks transfer in already, 4-star. Like, give him a good quarterback to work with. And, he's dangerous. He's a dangerous.
And they gave him some money in his pocket.
The Tennessee game is going to be interesting because it's usually earlier in the season. Now it's the last SEC game for us, so that there's going to be probably a lot riding on that, I assume. Just projecting. So that could be interesting. That adds a little pressure to that game. So on the road, one of the biggest stadiums in the country, that's that's not going to be easy.
All right. So based on what you see here, gentlemen, Coy, do you see any losses coming up? Can you give me a number of losses?
Based on the team as is, no, they should be able to. I'll say maybe one loss. That's just because the conference they play, you just never know.
How about you, Brooks?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go undefeated. It's hard to string together undefeated seasons. You don't. The only thing is when you have new quarterbacks, they've never been in these situations before. How are they going to respond? You don't get the reps. It's not possible to get those type of reps, until you're in those situations. So how does our new quarterback respond? I mean, that could definitely translate to losses, the schedule is, the schedule's manageable. I'm with Corey, one loss. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at one loss. You start thinking about 2 losses, and now you got to start thinking about where is it really coming from. That's more of, are we going to play? Are we just going to get surprised by an opponent? You can definitely see one loss, the Ole Miss game at Tennessee, but you go 2 losses. That's a little bit hard to see unless somebody just jumps up and surprises you. So,
all right,
I can see one loss.
Okay,
I'm
all right. So it looks like they'll be back in the college football playoff. All right, it's safe to say that. All right, one last little segment here before we get out of here, because it is triple option, and it was a Georgia heavy segment this morning, and rightfully so. But we're gonna close out with just a little bit of comments around the college football landscape. And gentlemen, what are your thoughts on Ohio State? Someone asked me this before, so I wanted to get it out there. Ohio State, have they lost their grip on the Big Ten?
You mean versus Michigan? I mean, it's just a traditional rivalry. Michigan is up for the last couple of years, but the coach they got there, I give him another season, maybe 2, before they start getting a little antsy about his production. But technically, he's either been 1 or 2 in the conference every year he's been there, and been in the playoffs majority of the times. But when you get to these Power 5 teams, sometimes it's not enough. But I don't think they lost it, because when you look at the talent level that they show up with now, I mean, still getting players in. and they're still winning for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all about. I mean, the only thing about Ohio State is that can they get over the hump and win a big game, like beat Michigan, beat Georgia in the playoffs. Like, you gotta win big games. The talent's there. You can tell. When you stand toe to toe with Georgia like that and have a chance to beat them, the talent's there. And then you see you see Georgia blow out TCU, and you see Michigan lose to TCU, and you wonder how. It makes me wonder how did Ohio State beat Michigan?
Yeah.
I think there's a talent gap. I think there's a talent gap between Ohio State and Michigan. So win the big game. They're always they're going to be there. They're in contention. They're always going to be in contention. But they got to get over the hump and win the big game. Or like Corey said, they're going to start asking questions. That's not especially if you don't beat Michigan. You don't beat Michigan, you lose 3 or 4 or 5 to Michigan. Yeah, it's hard to keep that job doing that. That's the one thing they care about.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll keep an eye on the Jim Harbaugh situation up there too to see if he's going to continue as the head coach there or maybe move to the NFL. Either way, I think Michigan is still, they'll still be who they are. They'll still be in the mix.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, 2 more questions. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. All right, this is something that was thrown my way too. And here's the statement. Coach Sanders will upgrade Colorado, but the growth will be gradual. Do you all agree with that?
Man, you seen that schedule for next year? Whew. It's going to be hard to –
Yeah.
That's a rough schedule they got next year, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to the talent level is going to be upgraded, but man, it's going to be hard to manage that schedule. Whew. So yeah. I agree with that. It's going to be hard to manage that schedule. I mean, I saw the schedule the other day and I was just like, oh my God. Whew.
Yeah, and we'll paste that schedule on the in the comment section too later on.
If he wins, if he makes it to 500, that's a win for him. Now they may not like it, but a 500 schedule for him win season next year will be a win for them.
All right. Here's it. This is it.
Oh, one more thing. Did you look at any of the? Did you look at that? Y'all got a couple wide receivers coming in from the transfer portal, Brooke?
All right, here we go. At TCU, Nebraska, Colorado State, at Oregon, USC, at Arizona State, Stanford, at UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, at Washington State, at Utah. Whew. I mean, that's a
5-win season, but I honestly only see 3 wins because that. He didn't bring in 92. I'm sorry, what is it? 80? How many players we get now? Division 1. He didn't bring in 80 something transfers.
What, 83?
Right.
Yeah, but I was looking at the transfer portal while we were talking. I see Georgia picked up a couple wide receivers.
God, man. Oh man. God.
Yeah. And there's the schedule right there, Jim. Yeah, it's kind of brutal there.
Man.
I mean, but the SEC plays that schedule every year.
Yeah, I'm seeing 4 or 5 wins if you're lucky. Whew, man.
3. I see 3. I honestly see 3. That's why I said if he can make it to 5 wins, that's actually a plus. That's a move in the right direction. I mean, he did get a book in for Hunter because he did get the top cornerback to commit to him. So I guess
we'll see. I mean, more than anything, he's got to. He's going to get talent in there. More than anything, he's got to change the culture of that place. That place
exactly.
It's been mediocre for a long time. To make
mediocre, put it nicely.
To expect a win, to make that get that program to expect to come in and win every game they play. I mean, that's going to be It's gonna be a challenge.
McCarthy, and then the people don't realize McCarthy had all these inroads in California. I don't know if Dion has made those moves yet to have, because basically Colorado was the University of South Central East. East.
South Central.
When you
LA.
look at Enemy and you look at Salam and you look at all those kids, Anusi, what was that defensive end they had? All those guys came from Cali. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how a person whose roots are in Texas, Florida, and Georgia, Southeast are going to be able to get all those kids to go out to Colorado.
I got some ideas.
Yeah, we'll find out. All right, last but not least, gentlemen, and then we're gone. Who's your way too early Heisman pick for next year? Who's your if you had to pick one today, who would you lean with?
Then nobody repeats. Very seldom that happens. If Tennessee makes it to the SEC championship, that quarterback they got down there.
I mean, you got your bookends. Like whoever the Ohio State quarterback is going to be in the conversation. Happens every year for some reason. Whoever Lincoln Riley's quarterback usually ends up with, it's. I don't think Caleb Williams is a senior, so I don't know if he's coming back.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
But whoever steps in is probably going to be in the Heisman because just his system puts up ridiculous numbers. So
the Georgia quarterback.
Just if Georgia puts together an undefeated season, their quarterback will be in it. It's just you got your bookends.
Yeah.
Is that quarterback for Washington coming back? Penix, I like him.
Yeah, he is coming back.
I got him. Give me him. I like him.
All right, gentlemen. This has been great. Brooks, any closing comments on your UGA Bulldogs?
No, I mean I will say, that after the day of our celebration and the parade, and we got the championship celebration, we had a car accident which killed a staffer and one of our offensive linemen. So, I just want to take a moment to point that out because we went from that high to that really low, and two other people were injured in that wreck. So, just take the time to realize that that was very tragic to have, to go from something that high to that low. That was very tragic.
Good point.
It's really weird. I guess he had some kind of deal with like a personal injury lawyer. I've been driving around seeing billboards with his face on it for like personal injury lawyers. That's some bad timing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just want to throw that out there. People are going to transfer in. People are going to transfer out of Georgia. But I mean, at this point, AD Mitchell left, our best receiver. We had a.
But y'all got two coming in.
Yeah, we got two transfers, receivers coming in. We had a linebacker leave for Alabama, but just keep in mind, like that's college football. When you're at Georgia's level, players are going to leave, transfer out every year to try to seek playing time. But the way Georgia reloads, I mean, that's not going to worry me. So I'm just going to say there's going to be a cycle, players leaving. But the way Georgia recruits now and brings in talent, and that's also the nature of college football. You don't really build class. You reload each year. You try to reload each year. So
and it's over 2,000 kids in and transfer the portal every year. I think I showed TJ. I'm sorry, Mr. 411, a conversation about one of my fraternity brothers had with a recruiter. And about the transfer portal, a lot of those kids don't realize if you don't have any film, it's going to be hard for you to go into these portals because now it's getting to the point where there's so many kids. There's the ones you're competing against kids coming in that they have high school film on, and then the top half of the portal, the kids have gained film on, and then they got these guys that were transferring out. Unless you're a high rated high school quarterback and you're at a school that you're not getting any run time and you're transferring out, it's gonna be hard to get them. You're thinking you're gonna leave Georgia to go to Alabama just because if they don't have any film on you, they got a lot of other choices that they're going down the list. So it's gonna be curious. We're gonna see. I think we're actually gonna see the transfer portal kind of that move start slowly declining because kids are not going to get the fits they want. They're thinking they're going to get a better fit, but the nature of just supply and demand is going to kind of settle the transfer portal out.
All right. Well, there you have it. Well, gentlemen, it's been great, man, and triple option. Um, Definitely love being on here because I get to learn a lot about the college football, and I'm sure the listeners are as well. Brooks, appreciate you being on. Coy, appreciate you being on. And everyone, appreciate you tuning in. And remember, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, subscribe, and share. Please do those 4 things. And continue that trend for us. And for Brooks and Coy, I'm Mr. 411. We thank everybody. And we'll see you on the other side.
Peace.